Okay, let's see if anyone can hear me now. Let's see if I can hear this. Right now that delay is very annoying. Okay, I think I know where the problem was. These things don't work. Or apparently, I, there won't be any outgoing sound from these anymore. Okay, well, I guess I've been looking for a complicated solution for an hour now, and we found a simple one. Isn't that amazing? Well, the headphones were cheap. I can still use them to listen, but apparently I can't use them for getting the sound out. So this time it wasn't the computer, or maybe the computer and my headphones, they just don't like each other. So okay, I'll turn off a few icons here, and well, where should I begin? Thank you all for your amazing patience, and I mean, I've been working on this sound with your help for an hour now, so I'm I'm really amazed that you're still here. Uh, is there a broken wire? Let's see. I don't get why all these new things are so. You just look at them and they break. I don't get this. Things. I'm going to sound really conservative now. Things were better in the good old days. Well, okay. So I have a few more things to turn off. I was going to talk about the culture war. Wildflower still can't hear me. Well, the rest of you can hear me, right? So I think the headphones was the thing that would get my volume up, but they won't work with me anymore. Uh, okay, I need to collect my thoughts now because I was a little put off by all these troubles. And while we're at it, apparently there was a stabbing in Paris. I haven't prepared anything on that because I saw it just right before I went online. So give me a second here. So I don't know if I should I put this live stream in the live stream playlist or shouldn't I? Because it's a very strange live stream. Uh, so since we've been on for this long, before I go through any of the stuff that I prepared, I could just as well tell you some of the things I was thinking of asking you. Uh, so I'll do that first. This will be a little unprepared since we've been working on getting the sound to work instead of what I was going to talk about, and I might talk a little about that too soon. But I'm thinking that perhaps I should limit these shows to once a week. Maybe twice a week is overdoing it a little. So what do you think about that? And you can think about that while I'll take a look at my notes. So I'll have a look at the chat before I say anything else. Joel Uldrich says, "Can you edit the stream to cut out the broken part? I have no idea how to do that. As I wrote, I guess I need to hire people if I could afford it. Well, anyway. So I guess I could do this now since we finally have sound. Thank you all for being here. Welcome and God bless you all. This is my Saturday live stream, which I do every Saturday. Well, not exactly as this time. I usually start it an hour earlier, which means 1 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Western European time, and I think you can manage from there. So I hope you're all having a good time now, and I hope we can have a good time during this live stream. And as I said when you couldn't hear me, there have been some things going on in Norway, in Sweden, in the UK, and I intend to address some of these things. Laurie P says, I would miss your midweek report. Okay, good to know. So before I address any of these things that I was thinking of, I would like to tell you a little about my goals, now that you can hear me. So right now, Patreon makes me $41 per month. Or my Patreon patrons, of course. Patreon doesn't make me anything, but the people who are my patrons at Patreon. My short-term goal is a $50 increase per month. So that means my goal is $91 per month short-term. My long-term goal is $3,000 per month. It might sound optimistic, I know, but why not? So would you please pray for me to reach my short-term and long-term goals financially? I also have a non-financial goal. My non-financial goal is to build critical mass. A critical mass consisting of what I like to call sane conservatives who oppose political correctness and Islam to change the tide in the Western world. As I keep saying, we don't need the majority. We need the 10 stubborn percent. The 10% who dare to stand in the front line and who will stand up even against opposition, even when it costs them something. Those are the people I am trying to reach. And in one way, form. I want people to swallow the red pill. I don't know if I need to say this, but this is not a channel about white supremacy or anything like that. I couldn't care less about your skin color, your race, or your ethnicity. I care about your ideas, and we don't need to agree on everything. Polite opposition is allowed in here too. Anyway, what I want is a critical mass of people who support Western values, Judeo-Christian Western values based upon Jerusalem, Athens, and Rome, combined with the Anglo-American tradition of liberty that manifested itself through Magna Carta and the American Revolution. That's what I support. So if you like what I do, feel free to support my work. Support is necessary and very appreciated. You can send a super chat by clicking the little dollar sign under your name and send whichever amount you like. I will read all super chats as long as you keep them clean. My rules are very simple. No real racism, no anti-Semitism, no incitement, and no cursing. And to make one thing clear, being anti-Islam is not racism, but inciting towards Muslims is a bad idea. And you can also support my work through becoming a patron at Patreon by donating to my PayPal account or by buying some of my merchandise. It's all greatly appreciated. And there are links in the box below this live stream. Also, visit my website, aswedespeaks.com. Like and share this live stream. Maybe not exactly this one. But anyway, if you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe. And, well, uh, we've got 24 people watching, which is great. And, well, thank you, Crackers001, for helping me out. I'm not really sure how I figured out to check if the problem was the headphones. Maybe God told me. I know people were praying, so perhaps I got the idea suddenly that that might be the actual problem. So, well, finally, sound is working. And now I know I can't use the headphones. Uh, so, actually, I was going to say, but I guess, well, I was going to say I was a little ill yesterday. I think I had a cold, so I couldn't produce This Week in Sweden. I'm sorry about that. I feel better today, but I'm not really at 100%. So I was going to say this might be a shorter show than usual, but I guess my plan was to end about now, and I can't do that. So, Well, we'll see for how long we can go on with this. Let's see. But I see we have a lot of my, what should I call you? My loyal audience, or I'm not sure if audience is the correct name, but whatever you want me to call you. My loyal people. I recognize most of the people here. I see there's someone calling him or herself ex-Muslims United. I don't recognize that now, but he or she says hi, so I'll say hi too. Yeah, my loyal friend Stephen Craig. That's a good name. Uh, so, and Charles Keatington says, in the middle of Marple or Poirot, ITV3. Oh, you're watching British TV again. Yeah, my loyal followers. Yeah, well, let's go for that. So, what I would like to mention is that it seems like we're getting culture wars in both Norway and Sweden. It has been boiling in Norway for a while now. It seems to me like things hit the surface more openly when the alternative news and debate site reset.no was launched. I have written some debate articles for them. I intend to keep on with that. Although there were some alternative news sites before in Norway, sites like document.no and rights.no, but we didn't see the same kind of culture war as I am seeing right now. Did reset.no simply start at the right time? Or is it since they opened up for people to send in opinionated articles, debate articles, and that they have a comment field? The impression I'm getting is that we have a culture war between proponents of Western values and opponents of Western values. Among the opponents of Western values, you will find both the politically correct leftists and followers of Islam. So let me give you one recent example. There's been a debate in Norway over the values that dominate among people of Pakistani background in Norway. We can call these people Pakistani Norwegians. Recently, Asra Gilani, a Pakistani Norwegian, published a book, En Muslimsk Mors Kamp, meaning a Muslim mother struggle. In that book, she commented on how many Pakistani Norwegians have not integrated into Norwegian society. The physician Atik Suhail, who is one of the Pakistani Norwegians, was not amused, and he attacked Gilani. Suhail said that Gilani doesn't know what she's talking about, and that Gilani doesn't have any close Pakistani female friends. So here are some numbers for you. 52.7% of Pakistani Norwegians work at least 1 hour per week. 69% of the men and 35.2% of the women participate in the Norwegian workforce. Those numbers are from the fourth quarter of 2017. Almost all Pakistani Norwegian children are born in Norway. However, 70% of them need extra language tuition in Norwegian to be able to participate in the Norwegian school system. In 2016, Norwegian Pakistanis had the top position in cases regarding domestic violence in Oslo. 2017, 62 children were sent abroad against their will. Most of the victims are sent to Pakistan, Iraq, Somalia, Afghanistan, and Syria. Many Pakistani Norwegian girls are forced to marry men from the old country, from Pakistan, often their cousins. Dr. Sohail nevertheless claims that Pakistani Norwegians are well integrated into Norway and that Gilani should be quiet. Shurika Hansen, who is a commentator at Reset.no, and by the way, Somali born, but as far as I can tell, assimilated into the West and married to a Norwegian, gave Gilani her support. This made Dr. Sohail even more furious, and Sohail sent Shurika Hansen some very unpleasant private message through Messenger. In one of these messages, Sohail told Hansen to lick the BUTT of Human Rights Services, which is a think tank and an organization in favor of Western values. Pardon my French, but that's what the good doctor wrote. So when the left talks about hate speech, remember this. However, I just saw that Sohail now claims his account had been hacked. Let me tell you, I doubt it. I could be wrong, but people who have looked into this says that it seems to be unlikely. So supposedly, Sohail also told Shurika Hansen that her Norwegian supporters really hate her and thinks that she is an ugly foreigner. I have yet to see any reaction from the left on this, and I have yet to hear Prime Minister Anna Solberg comment on this. Solberg was very fast to comment when people opposed Somali-born Sumaya Yirid Ali and called her a black-headed gull for some unpleasant comments she did, Solberg then spoke of religious racism. Well, that was then. Let's see if Prime Minister Anna Solberg will react now. Well, Lady Anya, I think you can't assimilate if you follow Islam. That's the short version. So also, I would like to mention Sweden. A few days ago, I mentioned that local police gave permission to the mosque in Växjö, in the province of Småland, which is in the southeast of Sweden, to have prayer calls on Fridays. Local politicians didn't want to touch this, and they let the police decide. There has been a debate about this before, where some people compared Islamic prayer calls to church bells and even to the ice cream truck. Since the ice cream truck makes noises, the Lutheran Bishop of Växjö welcomed this, and now the Lutheran Bishop of Skara, which is in the west of Sweden, has also welcomed this and hopes for more Islamic prayer calls in Sweden. However, when the Roman Catholic Church of Växjö applied for a permission to ring their church bells about a decade ago, they were denied. They were told that their church bells would disturb the residents of a residential area. Isn't this interesting? So my impression here is that Norway actually is closer to the point of culture war or cultural struggle, where Western values stand against non-Western values, including political correctness. I hope that I'm right about Norway, and I hope that Sweden will turn around soon too. As I mentioned a few days ago, voices have now been raised for Islamic prayer calls all over Sweden, not only from these Lutheran bishops, but also from Islamic organizations. Let's see here. Johan Gavel says, interesting headline, Swede. Well, thank you. And he also said, good sound, Swede. I'm happy to hear that, since now I'm only using the speakers of on my laptop, since the headphones won't work with me. And let's see here. Yeah, there is one more thing I'd like to talk a little about, or to mention at least, just briefly. Sadiq Khan, Mayor of London, recently stated that he wants to ban ads for junk food and drinks on the London transport network. Never mind the surge in knife violence, never mind the asset attacks, never mind the lack of freedom of speech in the UK. Let's ban cheeseburgers. Actually, I should have had a cheeseburger with me now, but I forgot about that. Assyrian King says, I think Mr. Luke Nash Jones from Make Britain Great Again now joining us. Say hello to him. Oh, that's wonderful. Uh, hello to Mr. Luke Nash Jones. If you're here, that's great. Meshefik One says Khan needs to resign as soon as possible, and London has fallen. I hope London hasn't fallen. I think there are still some parts of London that are good. Most of it isn't, obviously, but I think there still are some. And when I was in London recently, I thought when I was looking at the city, and I was also guided by a Syrian king, and that was great. Or we were guided. That was wonderful. So I can tell that London, well, London has a lot of things that you need to. Well, there's skin in the game here. You can't just give up London to Islam, or well, I guess you can, but you shouldn't. A Syrian king says, "We will never fall, Deus vult." Exactly, exactly. How do I pronounce that name? Anyway, he says, "I live in central London. It's a war zone." Yeah, I'm sure it is. I know a little something about some of similar areas in Scandinavia, and it's not a pretty sight. And well, migration is always a combination of problems and opportunities, but Islamic immigration just doesn't seem to work. Apart from, I mean, there will be a few Muslims who leave Islam, and they will assimilate. But if you don't leave Islam, you can't assimilate. Meshefik 1 says, yeah, not good times, but we will get through it. Well, we have to. And Lady Anya 2 says, for whatever reason, London seems to be the testing spot for Sharia. Yeah, it looks like it. We'll see what happens, because I'm sure my British viewers could correct me on this. However, it seems to me like Britain is at a boiling point now, with the march for, what was it called, the Day for Freedom? Was that last Sunday? I think so. Or is there another one coming up, Assyrian King? Are you talking about the one that was a week ago, or are you referring to something that will happen tomorrow? I'm just saying the numbers that you could see on the Day for Freedom were great, or from what I could tell watching it online. I would have loved to go to London, but that will have to wait to some other time. Maybe I will be able to get to London when you have something like that going on next time. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe I'll be able to go to something similar in Oslo or in some other country. We'll see. Did I hear something coming up in Finland, or did I? I don't know. I have something in the back of my head that I heard something coming up in Helsinki, some free speech thing, but I could have confused things. The Last Viking says Islam has no place in the West. I agree with you on that. And I mean, actually, I don't think Islam has a place anywhere. But at least let's keep the West Islam free. Let's put it that way. Mishefik says with Tommy Robinson, that was last year. That there was about 10,000 people there. Yeah, I could tell there was a lot of people, and that was great. And Lady Anya too says UK is trying to implement 6-month prison terms if you, quote, post hate speech about a certain religion or made up genders. Yeah, they're kind of doing the same thing in Canada, I think. Red Pill Factory, Make Britain Great Again, says hello. Well, hello to you too. I thought Make Britain Great Again was one channel. I have been following that channel for a while. Make Britain Great Again says, when can we interview you? Well, you know what, Make Britain Great Again? Why don't you send me an email, and we can set up we can set up well, the time. I'll write it in the chat too to make sure he gets it. But we should be able to get in. We should be able to set up a time, maybe in the beginning of next week or something. I'll see if I can add. I should be able to add my email address here too. And that email address is also, if you go to the about section on my YouTube channel, it's also under there. Well, there's a funny saying in Sweden. I'm not sure how to translate it. It says "Gör Sverige lagom igen," which means make Sweden lagom again. And lagom is a funny Swedish word which means something like just the right amount or something like that. Charles Keatington says it would be wonderful to be in London on Brexit Day. Yeah, which date is that going to be again? And I look forward to hear from Red Pill Factory or Make Britain Great Again. American Eagle says newsflash, stabbing in Paris now. I heard there was one a few hours ago. Are you talking about another one? Johan Gavel says, is it possible to red pill Swedes when the Swedish mainstream media don't want that? I hope so. I mean, I don't know, but I hope so. You do have the alternative media in Sweden, and they are sort of struggling with each other. And I handle them with care because they are a little different. Some of them are better than others. Maybe we need to start a Swedish reset too, because it seems to me like in Norway, reset really did a good job. My hair is in a mess; it's horrible. So I'll hang around for a while here and see what goes on in the chat, and I'll try not to be I'll try not to be well to nag too much about it, but support is always welcome, and you're also always welcome to recommend my channel to people who need to watch it. My videos or my live streams, that's always great. And yeah, I almost forgot. Please follow me on Twitter and Gab. There are links for all of that in the links. I mean, in the box under this live stream. There are a bunch of links there, but if you look if you look right above where it says references, there are some links to some other of my social media. Tracker 001 says, did Finland end the basic wage thing? I don't think they've ended it yet, but they are talked about ending it. I think there might be some people from Finland in here today. Or did he leave? I'm not sure. But what I heard was that they are going to end it because it would be too expensive for them. That's what I found out. Uh, Red Pill Factory, Make Britain Great Again says, but Sweden is a big concern with the rape crisis. Sweden has a lot of problems. There is a rape crisis. There's also crisis with violence in general, with the hand grenades. And the numbers I saw was that you were, was it 6 times as likely to be killed in Sweden from this violence than it was in Britain, and 10 times as likely as in Germany. It was something like that. I talked about it 2 days ago, and then I got ill, so I don't know. Psalm 122 6S says the U.S. Embassy opens this Monday in Jerusalem. Yeah, that's great. And you were going to call this place the United States Square in honor of Donald Trump or something like that? Red Pill Factory says, how do you speak English so well? Do you have a British girlfriend? Oh, well, no. Uh, I have an American girlfriend, but I I don't think I should be more specific than that. But I've been practicing my English for the last year, yes. And if I'm going to tell you anything personal, I could tell you that I hear my own mistakes when I speak English, and I notice when I'm looking for words. When I make videos, it's kind of easier because I am able to plan what I'm going to say. I can look up words, stuff like that. But when it comes to a live stream, I mean, some of the things I can plan, but some of the things I don't really know what I'm going to say. And that means so I will stumble a little more than. The Last Viking says, Swede, are you from Bergen? Both my grandparents immigrated from Bergen to Minnesota. Never have been there, but would love to visit one someday. I haven't been I'm not from Bergen. I live in Oslo, and originally I'm from a suburb of Stockholm. But I've been to Bergen a few times, and it's a nice place. And if you go to Bergen, you should go to the fish. I think they call it the fish square, Fisketorvet. Yeah, that would be the fish square. You can buy fresh fish in the middle of the summer if you want to. Bergen is also kind of a British city. I mean, Bergen was a city. It's a coastal city, so you had the Germans coming in there, you had the Dutch coming in there, you had the British coming there, you had all of these people sailing coming there. Valhalla Dome says, oh, another stabbing in Paris, just like last week in The Hague. This was also just a disturbed person on Saturday. However, come Sunday, it turned out it was a Syrian migrant shouting Allahu Akbar. Yeah, I mentioned the stabbing in The Hague in last week in Islamic terrorism, and because according to the Religion of Peace website, uh, the disturbed man was shouting Allah Akbar, and that's enough for me. So I thought I could put it in my presentation, and it's possible Paris will make it to the list for next week. Vladimir Ramirez says, I hope Finland or Russia invade Sweden. Well, I'm not going to call for the murder of anyone, but I certainly want some people to be out of power. Let's put it that way. Valhalla Dome says, "Yes, you did mention it. Thanks." Uh, yeah, well, yeah, right. You're from the Netherlands, I think. That's true. And JMax 200 Studios says Ramadan is almost closed. Yeah, it starts on the 16th, I think. Charles Keatington says pickled or fermented herring. Fermented herring? Are we talking surströmming again? You're trying to make me to test that thing. I might want payment for that. Actually, maybe I should write about Swedish food. I'm writing a book that I'm calling Understanding Sweden, and I think there are some regional differences in Swedish food. So if you're from the north of Sweden, you will eat fermented herring, while the people from the south of Sweden think that's kind of an odd thing. Uh, Red Pill Factory, Make Britain Great Again says Assyrian King is a good guy. He was with us at rallies and other events, a real patriot for Western civilization. Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm about. I'm pro Western civilization, and I mean I haven't gotten that many what I refer to as crazy comments today, so we're fine. Uh, but I would say that if anyone wonders, I'm pro West. I don't care if people are black or white or brown or, well, East Asian. I don't care about that. But I do care about your ideas. And to put it this way, I don't think Islam is compatible with any society, actually, but not with the West. And, well, Douglas Murray says that Islam has bloody borders, and I agree with him on that. SVT Remix says in South Sweden they eat spettekaka. Yeah, you're right, they do. I haven't tried that. Maybe I should. Might need to go to Skåne or something. Problem with Skåne is that it's too close to Copenhagen, but I could do a tour and go to different places in Scandinavia. Uh, I would like to do that sometime, but I will have to save up some money first. Plus, I might have a longer trip planned soon. We'll see. You, let's see. Solma 122 6S says, "Do you like lutefisk?" This is going to be horrible. I'm not very fond of that. And Red Pill Factory, Make Britain Great Again says cultural naturalist. Yeah, you could call it that. That's a good way of putting it. Assyrian King says, Swede, I think you missed the Red Pill invitation. No, I saw he asked me about when they could interview me, and I told him to send me an email. So isn't that right, Red Pill? I don't. I think so. Charles Keatington says, remember that meatballs are from Turkey. Well, yeah, that's funny because you could make the point that meatballs you have meatballs almost everywhere, but Swedish meatballs are of course different than, let's say, Italian meatballs or Turkish meatballs, if there are any. I don't know. But the fun thing here is that this Swedish Twitter account, the Sweden Twitter account, they made an unsourced statement, and then they said everyone knows this or something like that. Let's stick to the facts, and they hadn't even checked the facts. That's like, yeah, where do you start? Red Pill Factory says, come to the UK and we will show you the real Londonistan. Yeah, I guess I should do that. I would have to be careful with filming then, I suppose. Because, I mean, there was an Australian TV team that went to the no go areas of Stockholm and they were attacked. I'm perfectly aware that that would happen if I tried something like that in those areas of London too. Oh, I see. Assyrian King, thank you, Assyrian King. He says, Red Pill said, Red Pill Factory, make Britain great again. Hey, how about a live stream where you come on our channel and try British foods and tell us what you think? Oh, I missed that one. I'm sorry, but that sounds great. We could try that. next time I'm in Britain. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, to be honest. But we could absolutely try to arrange something like that. That would be interesting. And I was last time I was in London. We went to we went and had brunch. What was the name of that place again? Charles Keatington. We had this platter where there were different kinds of pork, and that was great. They had a picture of George Best on the wall, so I asked the people working there if he used to go to that place, but he didn't know. But then I found out that George Best actually lived in Chelsea, so maybe he used to frequent that place. Johan Gavel says, "How come Sweden doesn't have Sharia law?" And Charles Keatington says, "It's just a matter of time." Yeah, I would say unless Sweden turns around, it is a matter of time. I would also say that you have certain areas in Sweden that have Sharia law. Uh, I would say places like Rinkeby, Stockholm, Husby, Stockholm, Tensta, Stockholm, Gottsunda, right outside Uppsala. There are areas in Sweden where they basically have Sharia law. I mean, not as an official law, but as the unofficial law. Let's see. My thoughts says, as a skåning, I can guarantee that spettekaka basically tastes like sugar, but slightly better than cotton candy. I see. Sounds delicious and dangerous. Hilton 11,000 says, we still need to clear the swamp here too. I think you do. And JMax 200 Studio says, you should watch Katie Hopkins' video when she visited Molenbeek, Belgium, where there is a huge Muslim community. I heard of that. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't think I've seen it, but I have heard of it. The Syrian King says, it was on the RT news that Sweden is studying the connection between the crime and immigrants. Can't you see? I heard that there was a discussion about this going on, that they were going to check this. I don't think they did yet, but there was a discussion about the Crime Prevention Council, Brottsförebyggande rådet. Yeah, that should be the Crime Prevention Council or something like that. There was a discussion on that, but I don't think they have concluded with anything yet. Charles Keatington says the pig's ear in yeah, right, that's what it was, the pig's ear. And in Oslo, I always tell people to go to the Happy Pig, den glade gris, the Happy Pig. That's a good restaurant. It's a little expensive, but Oslo is, as a general rule, expensive. Psalm 122:6 says, "Are there many Islamic migrants in northern Sweden?" I don't think there used to be. I think numbers have increased. I think there are some of the cities in the north of Sweden are getting more Islamic migrants now. However, I think if you would go to inland northern Sweden, like Lapland, you probably won't find many there because, to put it frankly, I guess it's just too cold, and you don't have supermarkets around. They were sending some of these migrants to asylum housing in the north of Sweden, in the inland, and they were objecting and saying, "We don't want to be here. We want to go to Malmö or Stockholm." My reaction to that was, of course, that if you're making these kinds of demands, you're not a real refugee anyway, and you should just be deported. But yeah, I don't think those parts of Sweden will be very popular. I think it's more of the larger cities, or I think that would that don't yeah. I think that's what it is. Red Pill Factory says Gutted could meet you when you came to London. Facebook ban stopped. I'm not really sure what that means, but I'm sure we can work something out. Uh, let's just keep it a little open ended to see when to meet in person. Uh, but let's try to work out some kind of interview. That would be interesting. And I'll be happy for any British viewers showing up because I'm not British, but I watch. Britain is one of the countries I'm watching more closely now because of all the things going on there. I'm kind of watching Canada too, but I'm not seeing like a big response in Canada. In the UK, I'm actually seeing that people are being fed up and they are marching against this. I hope that will happen in Canada too. Hey, I hope it will happen in Sweden, and so I hope it will happen in Norway. We actually had some of that in Norway already. So, I mean, I guess my focus is Sweden, the Nordic countries, the Western world, and the rest of the world when it comes to what I look at and what I report on and what I comment on. Red Pill Factory, Make Britain Great Again says Canada has died. Well, they are dying, but I have been getting some Canadian viewers earlier at least, and they are pretty upset, to put it that way. So they could turn around. We'll see. La Resistance says Canada and Australia are about 3 to 5 years behind Europe. Yeah, right. You're sort of Canadian, I think. So actually, this is interesting. I've had all these sound issues, and I'm having better numbers now than in a long time. So, so if I would choose between Thursday and Saturday, for the sake of argument, do you think it would be better for me to live stream on Thursdays or on Saturdays? I'm guessing Saturdays uh, because people in general are are free on Saturdays. I mean, you're not working on Saturdays in general. Some people do, of course. Well, I guess I could argue that I'm working right now. Glory P says Saturdays. Okay, good to know. Because I'm saying Saturday, this one is set in stone. My midweek is not really set in stone. I'll think about what to do about it. Maybe I should carry on with it. Maybe twice a week is fine. Maybe I overdid it when I did it 3 times in one week. I also need to upload some videos. I probably won't upload anything on Monday. I don't think so. I will need to take a few days off after this because my health hasn't been perfect. Psalm 122:6 SS Saturday. It seems like the general agreement here is that Saturday is the most important one. Assyrian king says in the Muslims' wildest dream to take over Britain, they should pass our bodies first. Yes, actually, because how do we put it? I don't know if I should open this can of worms. And before I do that, I will respond to this. Wildflower says, see you on ABL Swede. Yes, I'll see you there. That's great. We will see you there. I might try to call in tonight. I guess so. I have an idea. What was I going to say again? Yeah. Uh, Remind me, where was I? Oh, this is embarrassing. Oh, I completely lost it. Okay, well, that happens. Yeah, this is a little annoying. I'm trying to think here. Red Pill Factory says, what is ABL? ABL is, I guess you could call him a black American conservative YouTuber, uh, Anthony Brian Logan. And he does a live stream twice a week too, and a call-in show. I used to call into him, not every time, but often, and discuss current events. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, Britain. That's what it was. Yeah, the can of worms. I didn't know if I was going to open or not. But let's open it right now. There is this crazy conspiracy theory that that Jews are behind Islamization of Europe. Well, that doesn't make any sense at all because if Europe would be Islamized, there are a bunch of European countries that have nuclear weapons. I'm pretty sure Britain has it. I think France has it. I don't know if anyone else has it officially, but if the UK would turn Islamic, they could use their nuclear weapons on Israel. So that conspiracy theory doesn't make any sense at all. Of course, there are leftist Jews who like multiculturalism. There are leftist non-Jews who likes multiculturalism too. I don't really know why I started thinking about this, but I guess it was if a Western European country would go Islamic and how that would, what kind of effect it would have on the outside world, something like that. Tracker 001 says they want England because of the old UK domination over the world. Sun never sets on the empire, saying. That's an interesting thought. The UK used to dominate the world until World War II, sort of. Then the British Empire was kind of, well, it fell apart after World War II, to put it shortly. And I mean, there were good things and there were bad things with the British Empire. You won't find any perfect country, any perfect regime anywhere. But I'd say they did some bad things. They also did some good things. And today we have the US. The US, of course, did some bad things. I think the US is doing some good things too. And I'm a big fan of President Trump. Well, of course, here's my coffee mug. So, okay. I'm into the just babbling off state phase now, I think. I'm kind of, how should I put it, encouraged by these numbers. Uh, I have more people watching than usual. I wonder why. Maybe it was just a very good headline. Who knows? I think when it comes to Islam, I think Islam would fall apart from inside if it wasn't for the fact that, how should I put it? Well, if you leave Islam, they'll kill you. I mean, that's the rules. And there was a leader of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt who said that unless, if it hadn't been for the death penalty for apostasy, there would be no Islam. And I think he was right about that. Red Pill Factory, Make Britain Great Again says culture war. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, okay. I mean, I was choosing between that or listing a bunch of names, and you have to keep the headline short. So that's what I did. And I guess the junk food ban in London, or it's not just really a junk food ban yet, but Sadiq Khan's proposed ban of ads on so-called junk food and drinks on the transportation system. I guess that was sort of the funny news, where it's tragicomical because he wants to talk about junk food. Yeah, of course. I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone to eat junk food 7 days a week, and I wouldn't recommend you feeding your children that, of course not. But it's like he wants to talk about cheeseburgers instead of knives and acid attacks. That's my take on it. Assyrian King says Islam is the famous weapon of mass destruction they were talking about. Yeah. Well, you know, I kind of I kind of believe in the theory of an Islamic antichrist. I mean, kind of. I'm not sure, but to me it seems reasonable. Let's see. Was there anything else? I have a lighter. I have a somewhat lighter question for you too before we end this. Uh, so, how's the weather where you live? We are finally seeing spring here in Scandinavia. We have had a long and cold winter, at least in Oslo, Norway, and suddenly it's almost summer. So, how about at your places? Neuronal Axon says apparently there's a sugar tax on soda now in the UK. Just heard about it the other day. Uh, don't follow the mainstream news anymore, nor do I drink much soda. Interesting. There's a sugar tax in Norway, or they are going to, they are planning on raising the sugar tax, which means Norwegians will go to Sweden to buy their candy or their soda. So I just think it's stupid. I agree that some things are not good for you, but I don't think government should tell you what to eat or drink. So I see a bunch of people here are getting better weather. I'm happy about that. Charles Kidnington says, "Isn't junk food part and parcel of living in a big city?" Yeah, I guess if you live in a big city, you have to live with McDonald's, Burger King, and whatever local variety of that you happen to have. On that note, I like the Finnish chain Hesburger. That's nice. I always go there if I happen to be in Finland or Estonia. Valhalla Dome says, "Holland was brilliant weather last days. That's great." So there is one more thing I just want to, well, share with you or discuss with you or see what you think about it. So next week on May 17th, Norway celebrates its Constitution Day. Should I try to document any of it? I mean, Oslo will be filled. It will be packed with people, at least downtown Oslo. Let me tell you that. The road that goes from the palace to Parliament, it will be filled. So what do you think? Are you interested in seeing how Norwegians celebrate? I'm just talking about make just filming a few minutes and uploading it. Nothing fancy, just that. Or maybe try to live stream from my phone. I'm not sure how that works. So, but are you interested in that? Solma 126S says chilly spring in the US. Cracker 001 says for US news, so-called mainstream 000, I'm not sure what that is. He says it's news and not talking heads like all day like Fox, NBC, CNN. I watch 001 and Fox Business beside independent sources like Swede Speaks. Laurie P says, I'm interested, sure. Okay. Neuronal Excellence says, sure, cover it. It would be interesting, especially if you spoke to some normal citizens to see what's on in their minds. Okay. I might try to do something like that on May 17th. Uh, I should try to get up really early then and go downtown because in the middle of the day it will just be so crowded. If I want to document when the king comes out or something like that. Charles Keatington says Mr. Khan once said that Islamic terrorism is part and parcel of living in a big city. Yeah, he said. I don't know if he used the term Islamic terrorism. Assyrian King says, Swede, you should get some instruction on the big day. Make Britain great again, preparing for President Trump's visit to London. Yeah, right. He's coming in July. Is there going to be a pro-Trump march or something like that? That would be interesting. I've tried to figure that out, but I haven't found it yet. But it would be interesting. So I'm not making any promises right now, but maybe I'll go downtown on Thursday to document Constitution Day. We'll see. Uh, Stephen Cray says I'll march for Trump. Oh, that's great. So we'll see what happens with that. Maybe I'll do that. I intend to upload a few other videos before that, of course, but we'll see. And so we've been online for almost 2 hours now, and for almost an hour you had sound too. So I'm about to wrap this up. Thank you all for hanging out with me during this live stream. Thank you for your support, your comments, your questions, your ideas, and for your patience. And I guess I could say this. Please share this live stream or my channel in general to people who needs to see it. Like, share, subscribe, And don't forget to pray for me and for this channel's financial as well as non-financial goals. And remember to follow me on Twitter and Gab too. There are links in the box below this live stream, so check out that. So until next time, have a nice day or a nice evening, and God bless.